to jail for breaking and entering? Are y'all ready to go to jail? And I'm like, I just got off from work. Like, I just was trying to turn. Hey y'all, what's up? It is your girl, Britt, so bougie, back at you guys again with another story time. As you can tell by the title, this is a story time about how I almost got arrested for breaking and entering. Let me get into it, but before I do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and comment some video ideas down below, or try and guess how I almost got arrested for breaking and entering. Brittany, what were you doing? What was going on? I'm getting ready to tell you. Cool, this stopped just in time. Okay, so we gotta travel back in time to do this story time. This is baby Brit era. This is like right before I graduated high school. So like that weird week where you know you're gonna graduate, but you're just going to school for the days. And yeah, I had this homegirl. We've been friends since our junior year in high school. And we worked together at the movie theater. I got a little distracted. Did it go with that music again? I bet y'all can hear it. What if y'all can't hear it? I don't know. I'm gonna keep talking through it and act like y'all can't hear it. So me and Stacy, this is my friend named Stacy. Me and Stacy, we've been friends since our junior year in high school. We just started talking in school, and then we figured out that we stayed close to each other, and Stacy drove, so she would come pick me up, or I'd go to her house all the time. And that was my friend. Like, we had great summers together, and we're getting ready to start a new summer up after our senior year of high school. So we were lit, and we were ready to start celebrating like the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, you know, whatever that may be for us. So I worked at the movies, and she worked there too. So one night I got off. I think she was off this night, and she was like, oh, she'll bring me home. But when I walked outside, it was her and another friend. The other friend name is Candace. Let me describe Stacy. Stacy is a tall, pretty black girl, and she always had long black weave. And Candace was a white girl, and she had freckles and red hair, like it was in like a little bob, a little bob. And she was in her car, and Stacy was in her own car. So they're going back and forth talking about how it'd be so cool to have a kickback. So Stacy's like, yeah, I would love to have a kickback. I'll throw it or whatever. I can call the people up. And like I said, you know, me and Stacy been hanging out for a minute, so I know her people, like her family. And I'm like, girl, your people are not gonna let you have no kickback. And my mom just started letting me outside, so that's dead. So where are we gonna do this at? And she was like, oh, I know a place. We can have the kickback at my sister's apartment. And I'm like,
you're fucking lying.
All your sisters have kids. Like, they're not gonna let us have a party at their apartment. What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, well, my sister is moving, and they let her into her new place before her old lease ended. And so she still has stuff there. The lights and everything are still on. Like, it's basically like she's still living there, even though she's like slowly moving her stuff to her new place. And she just would rather be at her new place than her go there all the time. Like, it's no issue. Whoop-de-whoop. So, you know, I don't think too much of it, and neither does Candice. And I'm like, okay, cool. Can you bring me home before we start going there? She's like, yeah, I gotta text people to tell them about the location anyway. So we passed by the apartment before we head to my house so I can change. And like, she runs up and does whatever. I don't know what she does, but she runs up to the apartment. And then she comes back down and she brings me home so I could change into something cute. I got on my little nasty Cinemark popcorn smelly uniform, and I put on like a little cute periwinkle blue tube top and like some jeans and some little sandals or whatever. So we head back to the apartment, and as we pull up the second time, I noticed that there's this truck sitting outside that wasn't there the first time we came. And like, I'm just looking at this white truck, like something suspicious about this truck. This truck is like, I feel like they're on to us, like they know we're trying to have a party. And you would think like I'm paranoid, but just wait. So I'm like freaking out, like not really, but I'm just like, bro, you notice that truck? And she's like, Stacy's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever, they're not worried about us. Let's go in. So me, Stacy, and Candace head into the apartment, and y'all, things were not as they seem. They were not as promised. We get up there and stuff is broken. Stuff is all messed up and it's hot, and it's like, it's no way we can have like an enjoyable kickback in here. And I'm standing out the window looking like Malcolm X, trying to like see these people and they're still sitting there. So I'm like, Stacy, bro, we need to leave. We need to leave. And like I said, I was the friend that was always in the house, so I was always ready to go. I was always sketched out, so Stacy wasn't paying me no mind. And I'm like, nah, bro, we need to leave. And Candace is like sitting on the floor in a fetal corner, just looking in the fetal corner, in a fetal position, just looking around. I don't know what's that Candace had going on, but she wasn't feeling it either. I'm guessing. I don't know. I never asked her because I was too worried about these people in this white truck. And Stacy is just like trying to shoo it away, and she's like, no, it's cool, like nobody's watching us. I come here all the time. I'm like, bro, somebody watching us. We need to leave. We need to leave. We need to shake spot. Like, we need to go. And she's like, bro, I'm telling you, it's fine, but I'm gonna go and walk past my car. We'll walk to my car and get something, and like, I gotta pass by them, so I'm gonna see if they watching us. Okay, so this is exactly what Stacy does. She had on like a tank top and some shorts, so she was going, like, she went go get a sweater, and as she walked past these people's car, ain't nothing sly, slick, nothing about her. Baby girl looked in their car. She walked by looking all in them people's car, and I'm like, oh Lord, if they wasn't suspicious of us before, they definitely suspicious of us now. Like, they onto us, like they like something's wrong with these people. Like, we don't belong. We don't belong. So Stacy comes back in and she's like, yeah, they're most definitely watching us. And it's like, can we leave? Because I didn't drive. Because if I would have drove, I would have been skated out. Okay, I didn't drive. So she's like, yeah, let's go. And now like Candace is starting to like be a little sketched out. Like, you can tell she's freaking out a little bit. So we all going downstairs, and me and Stacy get in Stacy's car first. And so we're backing out and we're in the street, and Candace is still in the parking lot, and she starts to back out. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. The lights came out of nowhere. It felt like one of the Fast and Furious movies, the way the police officer pulled out. Now, mind you, me and Stacy are in the street, so they're not blocking us in. They're blocking Candace's car in. And Stacy looked at the police behind Candace's car, and she was like, I hope she okay. And so she goes to drive off, but the people in the white truck, they flag her down and they tell her to pull over. So she's like, well, they telling me to pull over, so I'm gonna pull over. I'm like, oh my goodness, like, what? My heart beating fast. I'm like, well, we really wasn't doing anything, so like, what's gonna happen? So when Stacy pulls over, she hops out the car and she goes running to over like where Candace is. You know, the police.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Like, well, like, what you running up on us for? And she's like, hey, what are y'all doing to my friend? Stacy ain't had no sense. I love Stacy. Stacy was fun. Anyways, Stacy ran up on the police and was just like, what are you doing to my friend? And da, 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 da. They were like, what are y'all doing here? We're like, who lives here? Da, 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 da. And then they asked me to get out the car. They come over to Stacy's car and they asked me to get out. And I go stand towards the end of Candace's car. So they're all at Candace's door. Candace is like standing there looking crazy, and Stacy is like fussing like the police is doing something wrong. At that time, I didn't know what was going on, who was right or wrong. I just knew the police was here, and now we outside the cars. So Candace is standing there looking lost, and they figure out that who they need to talk to is Stacy. And they tell Candace to come stand at the end of her car with me. So me and Candace are standing at the trunk of her car, leaning against the car, while the police are talking to Stacy. And they're like, Stacy's basically talking in circles at this point, trying to get out of this. She's not really answering any questions. She's avoiding it. And there are two officers there. And we're going to name these officers. Officer number one is Officer Do Too Much. And I'll tell you why I named him that soon. And then we got Officer Chill. And the names are kind of self-explanatory. I'll tell you why. You get why I'm naming them that, because one of the officers is just literally Officer Do Too Much, and one of them is just like, so we're here. Okay, so Officer Do Too Much is talking to Stacy, and Stacy isn't giving him any clear answers. Like, he's like, what are you doing here? How'd y'all get in our apartment? Da, 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 da. And she just wasn't really, she was talking, but she wasn't talking about anything. She was just basically still trying to like, why'd y'all pull up on my friend? We aren't doing anything. Avoiding the question. So then Officer Do Too Much gets pissed off, and then like he comes screams at me and Candace's face, and he was like, are you ladies ready to go to jail for breaking and entering? Are y'all ready to go to jail? And I'm like, I just got off from work. Like I just was trying to turn up, you know, but I'm just, if you watch my robbery story time from the gas station, I was like, even in the face of danger, I will still be like stone face. So I'm looking at him just like stone face, but I'm thinking like, bro, I just got off from work. Like y'all can call my job. We ain't broken nowhere. We ain't doing nothing. Cause I'm like, we ain't broken into nowhere. We ain't doing nothing. We just trying to have a kickback. So I don't say nothing. And we just lean against the car, and he goes scream the same thing in Stacy's face. And Stacy's like, what are we going to jail for? Like, Stacy's like, what is this? I don't understand. I don't get it. And so Officer Chill is just standing there in front of us looking at us or whatever. And I'm kind of just looking at the conversation with Stacy and Officer Do Too Much. And Officer Do Too Much is like, what are y'all doing over here before I put all y'all back in the car? In the back of the car. And I'm like, bro, come on. And she was just like, well, we were here seeing my friend Trixie. Who the hell is Trixie? I'm like, I'm just standing here, and I like kind of look up like, bro, what is you doing? Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. And so I'm in my car. Officer Do Too Much knows that Stacy's is lying, and he's like, what apartment does Trixie stay in? And she's like, oh, she stays in this apartment. And Officer Do Too Much turns to look at the people. The people in the white truck has got out, and now I don't know if I mentioned it, but they're all in the mix with Stacy and Officer Do Too Much. And come to find out, those are the property owners. Those are the landlords. They own the property, and they knew that that apartment that we were going into was vacant. Yeah, that's what I said. Her sister had moved out months ago. So yeah, that's why they were watching us so hard. Nobody was supposed to be there, and they recognized her from when her sister did live there. And they've been watching her go in and out of the apartment this whole time. So this has just been a build-up. And she's like, yeah, no, I'm telling you there. Anyways, so he turns to the landlords, and he asks them who stays in that apartment. And they're like, that apartment is vacant. And I'm like, bro, you're like, why are you lying so bad? Like, why are you doing this? And I kid you not, Stacy do just like this. Okay, so the police and the landlord right here, Stacy looks to her side and talks to herself. I was like, I could have sworn Trixie stayed up there. I could have sworn she... I'm telling you, we was going to see my friend Trixie. Like, she was not letting up on this lie. And I don't know what's gonna happen, because I'm like, bro, like, even though we weren't really doing anything, we still gonna go to jail because she won't stop lying. So Officer Chill, well, they're still fussing. Officer Chill is like, what were y'all doing up there? And Candace is bawling her eyes out over here. I don't know if I mentioned that, but Candace has lost her marbles, and she is no longer coherent, and she's just sobbing uncontrollably. I was like, bro, don't cry. She was just like, I was like, you're gonna cry? And she was like, so Candace is crying, so she's not gonna respond to anything the police officer is saying. So I'm like, honestly, she told us that like this was a nice spot for us to come and have a kickback at, and obviously it's not. That's all he was doing. And he was like, well, how y'all got an apartment? And I was like, she got a key. She got a key. And he was like, you ladies aren't going to jail tonight. It's okay. Relax. He was really talking to Candace, because I'm telling you, I was standing there cool as a cucumber. I was freaking out up here. But I was just like, because Stacy was fighting a losing battle over there. So Officer Do Too Much never like, not Officer Do Too Much, Officer Chill never like walks over there. He's just letting Officer Do Too Much pretty much handle Stacy. And as Officer Do Too Much and Stacy are still arguing, he like asks for her keychain. She hands him his keychain, and Officer Do Too Much goes through each and every one of the keys on Stacy's keychain, asking her which one is this to what. And it's just like, what is this for? That's for work. What is this for? That's for my mom's house. What is this for? So obviously Officer Do Too Much knows which key is for the apartment. He was like, is this key for the apartment? She like, he's like, is this key for the apartment. And she's like, and then he was like, if you make me walk all the way up there and try this key on the door, I'm taking you to jail. And she's like, okay, that key is for the apartment. How did you get the key to the apartment? My sister used to stay here. So now she's spooked. She's finally talking, and I'm just like, okay, like, okay. So then after she says that, y'all, my heart dropped to my booty hole because a police van pulled up, and it was 3 of us. So I'm just like, they finna back all of us in this van because this girl won't stop lying about why I'm starting to freak out a little bit now. I really am. At this point, I'm no longer cool. Candace ain't never came back to reality. She's still over there sniffling and losing her mind. And Stacey she finally telling the truth, but I'm like, dang, is it too late? And like a man driving the police van, he rolls his window down, and Officer Chill walks up, and Officer Chill's like, what you doing over here? He was like, I'm just saying what y'all doing over here. Y'all, he was just being nosy. He wasn't there to pick us up. He was just being nosy and all in our business that he didn't need to be in because he had us freaking out even more than we already was. Okay, thank you, Officer Nosy. See, it was Officer Do Too Much, Officer Chill, and Officer Nosy. Okay, so Officer Do Too Much, back to that conversation because the van just pulled off because Officer Chill is like, there's a bunch of crazy kids. They just ain't doing it. You know, they weren't really speaking English at that point. They were just mumbles and grunts between men. You know how that go. So Officer Do Too Much takes the key off the key ring and was like, do you have a copy of the key? And she's like, no, I don't have no copy of the key. He's like, are you lying to me? She's like, no, I don't have no copy of the key. I really don't. And he's like, y'all get the F out of here, and I better not see y'all here again. And so we do just that. Well, Candace does. Candace peels out of there quicker. She burns rubber quicker than anybody I've ever seen. Me and Stacey get in the car because I rode with Stacey, and Stacey is sitting there in the car just texting on her phone like, whoa, girl, that was crazy. We almost got in trouble. Drive off! I just screamed, drive off! Like, what is wrong with you? Why are you texting? And these people, like, they said, get that off their property. Leave. Let's leave. We need to go. And so she like jumps and drops her phone. She's like, you know what? You was right. We do need to go. So then we drive down the street and we meet Candace at this gas station, and Candace is like, just her nerves are shot. She's still crying. She's a nervous wreck, and it's just like, dang, bro. Yeah, I get you. Like, dang. And Stacey is just like, I'm so sorry. Y'all, that's never happened to me. I'm so sorry. I'm just like, bro, whatever. So then Stacey says she knows somewhere else we can go to have a kickback. And me and Candace are obviously very like, you know, we're not trying to go to another kickback. But she's like, no, I'm so sorry. Like, I told y'all we were gonna have fun tonight, so let's go. I know this place, we're not gonna get in that much trouble. We just can't have the music too loud or the police gonna come in. And Candace is like, no, I think I'm gonna go home. And I was kind of up for it, so I was just like, okay, whatever. Let's go to the next spot. And Candace is still just very not reluctant to go, but Stacey convinces her. So then we pull up to the spot. It's an apartment, but someone actually lives at this apartment. And we get in, and it's like a chill vibe. Cool people. Candace leaves after like 5 minutes because she's way too spooked. She's like, I'm too spooked. I can't do this. I need to go home. I can't. And Stacey walks around. She's like, I feel so bad. Dude, that was so bad. And then we party and have a good night. I hope y'all enjoyed that story time about me almost getting arrested for breaking and entering. Did it turn out how you wanted it to? Did you think that was the story behind it? Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. Stay bougie, my loves. Bye-bye.
She just want that glitter.